Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Dreamcast emulation on Android with Flycast, and Flycast is officially on the Google Play Store. For those who may not be aware, Flycast stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano. It's 100% free, it's open source, and you can even get the development builds over on Google Play. Now, Flycast on Android isn't something new. I mean, they do have APK builds over on their GitHub, and I'll drop a link to that in the description below as well. You can pick it right up from here if you didn't want to pick it up from the Google Play Store. Moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Citra, and this post was over on Reddit emulation on Android. And someone says, I think Citra is back. This site has emulator and ROMs. Now, I probably don't need to tell any of you this, but this site is 100% fake. It's not the real deal. It's 100% fake. There's other fake emulator sites out there as well. It seems that people capitalize on emulator names to have fake APKs, fake websites to all distribute malware. And speaking about fake stuff, next up we're talking about the Google Play Store, and apparently here Google is set to purge the Play Store of low quality apps. I am very curious to see how this one goes. The policy is going into effect on August 31st. So Google flat out says apps should provide a stable, responsive, and engaging user experience. Apps that crash do not have the basic degree of adequate utility as mobile apps, lack engaging content, or exhibit other behavior that is not consistent with a functional and engaging user experience are not allowed on Google Play. And they go on to list some examples here. Limited functionality and content, apps that are static without app-specific functionalities, for example, text-only or PDF file apps. Apps with very little content and that do not provide an engaging user experience, for example, single wallpaper apps. And apps that are designed to do nothing or have no function, including broken functionality. Now, I am very curious about this one moving forward and how it all rolls out. I mean, there are tons of fake emulator apps on the Google Play Store, and mostly all of the fake ones are considered in development, so users cannot rate them. And they do have ads, so a user will install it, open it up, play a couple of ads, and the developer makes some bucks, and then the emulator does absolutely nothing. For example, most of these here, there are no PS4 emulators on Google Play. There are no Xbox 360 emulators on Google Play. There's no Xbox 360 emulator on Android. There's no PS4 emulator on Android. So I'm very curious to see where all of this goes and if Google actually rolls out what they're trying to implement here. Honestly, there is so much crap on the Google Play Store. I mean, this one alone has over 1 million downloads, and yes, this one's fake. Next up, we're quickly talking about a game that can be played right in your browser. It's called Halo Combat Devolved, and it's up on itch.io. Now, this was made using GB Studio, and there's also a YouTube video up on it, and I'll drop a link to that in the description below. Now, this is not the full game just yet. It is currently in development, and there are a couple of levels available, and the game looks very cute. They've even incorporated the Warthog into this one. It shoots enemies, you can drive around, and the overall game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Next up, if you've got an extra 10,000 bucks laying around, or probably a whole lot more than that, you may be able to get your hands on an NES Gold World Championships cartridge. This one is heading up for auction. The starting bid is $10,000. While the auction itself is pretty cool and I'm curious about it, at the same time I've got no interest whatsoever in spending this kind of money for a game like that. If you do, let me know in the comments below and let me know your thoughts about the starting price and what you think it's going to go for. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe close to $100,000 or maybe even more than that, depending on what's going on in the background. Moving on, and we're talking about EVO, the world's biggest fighting game tournament that was just held this weekend. Now, this year, I did not attend EVO. I've gone to previous ones. I've competed in previous ones. Anyways, here a whole lot was revealed at EVO, and I would say it was a smashing success. So firstly here, SNK confirmed that a new Art of Fighting game and Samurai Showdown action RPG are currently in development. Capcom showcased Terry Bogard in Street Fighter 6. Maximilian Dude has a fairly long play of Fatal Fury City of Wolves with commentary. Heihachi rises from the grave and was announced for Tekken 8. Arc System Works announced that they were adding Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners to Guilty Gear Strive. SNK vs. Capcom SVC Chaos has now launched on Steam. This is about 20 bucks USD. It does include rollback netcode and even more. And there were trailers for Under Night In-Birth, Grand Blue Fantasy, and even more. It was pretty awesome in terms of overall reveals and showcases. Now, one of the main games over at EVO was Street Fighter Third Strike. And for those who may be unaware, this is an arcade game that requires old arcade hardware. And running these games can be a little bit frustrating sometimes, and the setups can be a little bit questionable. Well, Paradise Arcade stepped up and created something amazing for the tournament. So this unit here is basically a consoleized arcade unit. It does have a CRT, it's got USB ports for modern controllers and even more, and it's compatible with a whole bunch of different arcade games. The overall setup was very well received, and they're actually selling a few of these. Now, I will say these units are not cheap at all, provided there's any left available. They are between $1,200 to $1,500 depending on the setup, and that's because they use actual arcade parts, actual arcade CRTs, and even more. Now, some people will say that price is way too expensive, and I can understand that perspective, but at the same time here, being in the arcade scene, a price like that is completely reasonable for authentic arcade parts and a build like this, a very customized build that's extremely good. You don't come by these things very often in the arcade world. I think this product is pretty cool. It's unique, it's built like a tank, and it's built to last. And if you don't like the price of it, you can always just emulate. It's a lot easier. Next up, we're talking about Bethesda, and this one is extremely interesting. Apparently, Bethesda has unionized. So they say here in a tweet, "We, a majority of developers at Bethesda Game Studios Dallas, Rockville, and Austin, are ecstatic to announce the formation of our union with CWA Union. Together as one BGS USA, we advocate for the betterment of every developer at BGS, setting the new standard for our industry." To be honest with you, I am very curious to see how this works moving forward. Is it going to improve game development? Is it going to protect game developers? Are we going to see less bugs in a finished product? Are finished products going to take longer? Are they going to be better? Who knows? I'm very curious to see everything. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Next up, we're talking about PS4 emulation with none other than Shad PS4. And Shad PS4 has even more games booting. And again, this is from version 0.1.1. This is BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle up and running. Now, I don't think my eyes are deceiving me. I would classify this game as playable. I mean, the frame rates look decent here. They look pretty good, and the textures are rendering. Everything seems to be running very well. Furthermore, Shad PS4 has also said they've made progress on Persona 5. This emulator is improving in leaps and bounds at a very fast pace. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about Skullgirls Mobile. Now, I've played Skullgirls on PS4. I've played it on PC, and I've enjoyed it. I haven't really played it a whole bunch on mobile. I initially got into it, I initially enjoyed it, but it's just been pushed to the side as other things have taken priority. If you play this game, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, if you do play this game, they've also announced some guest stars. To be honest with you, this is one of those games I feel like I should be playing more, but if I remember correctly, one of the reasons I put it by the wayside was because of microtransactions. Again, I could be wrong. It's been a while. I haven't picked it up in a long time. If you've played this one, if you play it, let me know in the comments below. Moving on, and I've got another quick one for you here, and this is more just a fun fact. Someone was poking around in the Xbox One wondering about the original Xbox compatibility with it. And it turns out the Xbox One is just using the exact same emulator that the Xbox 360 used. Xefu. Is Xemu better? I would argue absolutely yes. But at the same time, this is just a fun fact. Next up, if you've got an XG Station Pro and an Asus ROG Ally, you might like this piece of news. There's a brand new piece of open source hardware that replaces the main board in the XG Station Pro. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the Reddit post in the description below and feel free to check it out. They say it's finally done. In the past few months, I've been slowly reverse engineering all of the hardware and software around the XGM and have built a dock that allows any PCIe device to be connected to the Ally and flow through the XGM port. Now, I'm not certain if the final product will require the XG Station Pro, but at the same time here, this is an awesome open source project and can add potentially a whole bunch of power to the Asus ROG Ally when paired with a GPU. And speaking about gaming handhelds, next up, we're quickly talking about the Steam Deck, and it turns out that Flatout 1, 2, and Ultimate Carnage are now Steam Deck verified with Steam Workshop support. This is a massive win for racing and fun on the Steam Deck. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about mobile phones with the Google Pixel 9 Pro, and Google has just put out a new video that's only 8 seconds long that says 22 reasons you should say goodbye to your phone and hello to the Pixel 9 Pro with Gemini. Now, to be honest with you, I am looking forward to the new Pixel 9. I'll be upgrading to that phone once it releases. I'm a big fan of the Pixel's video capabilities, and I use it a lot when I'm doing video for this YouTube channel. However, I would say these 22 reasons are pretty weak. I mean, I try not to be biased towards things. I try to be fair and transparent. And I mean, look at this. Goodbye, forgetting what restaurant your friend liked. Really? Now, I don't know if this is just me, but I'm not that excited about all of this Gemini stuff. If you are, if I'm out of touch here, let me know in the comments below. But I see myself blocking Gemini from a whole bunch of this stuff and trying to value my privacy a little bit. I could be completely out of touch though. And speaking about privacy, next up we're talking about some stuff that was a little bit private and now really isn't. It's up there for the public to see, or rather hear, and it's about The Lion King. So 35 plus tracks have been uncovered from The Lion King's production by hardcore fans of the film. Most notably, it includes a never publicly heard song by Elton John titled Thanks to Me. If you are curious about this one, all of this stuff is up on archive.org, and I'll drop a link to this tweet in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about PS1 emulation on iOS with Gamma, and Gamma just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 1.6.4 is the latest update. And this is a big one. There's a whole bunch of fixes here and some brand new stuff. There's enhanced audio settings that have been added. They've added touch controls that can now be used alongside hardware controls. They added support for analog controls in games, local multiplayer for up to 4-player. They've removed ads and even more. Now, it is worth pointing out that ads are removed through Gamma Pro, so not on the free version. But at the same time here, this is a big step forward. Next up, this one's a quick one and also a fun one. And if you're thinking a Wii handheld would be a pretty cool device, what about a Wii Keychain? Someone has made a Wii console the size of a keychain. I am not joking with you. Now, from my understanding, this will be running using actual Wii hardware and not emulation, and it will be compatible with stuff like GameCube controllers and even more. This is absolutely bonkers and a very cool project. If you wanted to learn more about it, I'll drop a link to this forum in the description below and do recommend checking it out. And speaking about fan-created stuff, last up here we're talking about Streets of Rage and a fan film of the game. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the trailer in the description below and do recommend checking it out. It's called Rage Unleashed. Now, based on the description, this is going to be a feature-length film, and the budget for this one is extremely low, only £5,000. I'm very curious to see how this one turns out. I'm hoping it's going to be good. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and the one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.